Hey everyone, this is me, the Undead Viking. I'm going to talk to you today about board game transportation. Now, in the past, as many of you probably are, you're like the person who owns all the games, right? And so my collection is a very, very large collection. I have some friends who have some games as well, but mine is quite larger than anybody else's. And so when board game events and board game get-togethers happen, by and large, they usually used to happen at my house. I used to have people over here, we'd play games, what have you. So I didn't really care about how I would get my games from point A to point B. However, recently, like, a couple of things happened. There's been a couple of board game groups that have started up within my community in the last couple of years that I've joined and been a part of, which are great. And also, my local game store actually turned a focus onto board games in the last couple of years as well. And they've started having a monthly board game night where everybody shows up, brings a bunch of board games, they give away prizes, and it's just a lot of fun. And I've been trying to make those and go to those on a regular basis. And yes, so you're going to these meetups, you're going to your friend's house, you're going to a convention or something along those lines, and just transporting your games from point A to point B, it's pretty simple, right? It's just a box, you carry it, whatever. But if you're like me, and I'm guessing you're kind of like me in some ways, if you're a designer board game enthusiast, we kind of want to take care of our board games. We want to make sure that we get them wherever they're going, and we want to take care of them along the way. And also, having a big stack of board games is kind of tough to deal with. And yeah, okay, you can go to Target or any other big box store or wherever and get some big plastic tub, right? And you can just put all your games in there, and that's, it's got handles you can carry, but I mean, that's heavy, and you're gotta carry it like this. And the one singular bad thing about my local game store is that the parking there is horrible. It's in the downtown area of town, and so you end up parking a block or two away at some point, and you carrying this 40-pound tub of games down the street trying to get to board game night is both comical and just not fun. So when other people have come up and said, oh, I'm using this to carry my games, I've always been looking for something new and something cool and something that would just make things easier for me to get my hobby from point A to point B. So when I was contacted by the people that are behind this new idea, this new transportation system called the board game truck, I was really excited about it, and they were kind enough to send me samples of the 3 different levels of board game trucks that they have, and I gotta tell you, these things are awesome. So I'm just going to show them to you, and I'm going to kind of detail some of the different things that they can do, and I strongly suggest you check this out. But anyway, so I'm going to start from, obviously, the smallest size board game truck. I'm going to work my way up. They come in 3 different sizes. There is, just small, medium, large, but they call them, because it's the board game truck, they call them the flatbed, they call them the bulwark, and then they call them the tank. So you can kind of guess, to get a little bigger. But anyway, so this is the flatbed, and it is just like this. You can kind of have one game in here. You could, if you have smaller games, you could definitely get more games into this guy. But you can fit one standard-sized, Ticket to Ride box, if you know what I'm talking about, the square box. You can fit one of those in there really, really simply. And the cool thing about this, it's got the little handle, and I do dig the little meeple leather zipper tags here. So I'm just going to open this up really quick and show this to you. So this one has a cool little flap, right? And it has this really strong handle. And I'm going to say this right now, and I'm probably going to say it a few more times, but the craftsmanship and the quality of this bag is exemplary. This isn't like a plastic handle or anything like that. This is a very nice fabric. I think there may be some foam or plastic in the middle, but it's covered in a nice fabric, so it doesn't chafe on the hand or anything like that. So if you're carrying a long distance, like that 2-block walk from where my parking spot is to the board game night, it's not going to bug you. And so you open this guy up, and And this is like if you were bringing one board game. And if you're only going to play one board game, you know, it's got to be the Game of Thrones board game, right? So, if you're ever worried about, like, possibly, if you have more than one game in here, or if you're worried about your box opening up or anything like that, it does come with this elastic strap that, you know, just has a little push button to open it up, and you can get your game out of there. And like I said, if you had two smaller box games that you put in there, you could put that strap to hold them in place. You wouldn't have to worry about it. The cool thing about this one that I really like is the fact that it has this kind of open window there. You can kind of see where the type of game that's there. And the thing about that is that you can get several of these, and I'm going to say this probably when I talk about the tank, but the tank actually can hold these within it. And so this is one of those situations where if you really wanted to take care of your games or keep track of them, you could have multiple ones of these within the tank, and then you can just pull them out. You can say, okay, here's my Game of Thrones game, here's this game, here's that game, because of this cool little window. So this is the flatbed, and like I said, it's perfect for that one singular game, like, you know, your one big war game you're going to play. You know, if you're going to play, like, you know, a 7-player game of Taverna or something like that. I mean, this is the perfect type of, you know, carrier for just that one game you're taking to game nights. All right, so now we move on to the bulwark. Okay, so you can kind of tell it's a little bit bigger, and we got a little strap going on over here, some cool stuff. So let me just talk about this. Once again, we have a handle, and you can kind of hear something rattle around in there, right? So you have a handle, same as the other one, feels really nice, and you have, you know, your cool little your zippers, your little meeple zippers here. So we're just going to open this one up. I'm going to show you the inside. Now, I didn't fill this one completely to the brim. I could have probably squeezed another game in here. But once again, we have, like, here's Unfair. You know, awesome game. I definitely think you should check that out from Good Game Publishing. But once again, we have our little strap here. So, and I didn't fill this one completely because I wanted to do this. Okay, so check this out, right? So I only have 2 games. So, you know, if there was another game in here, this would be really, really, you know, stretching it to the core, right? And so you'd feel secure. But because of this, see, I'm taking my hand off. That's holding it in. You know, it's not coming out. This strap here is keeping everything in. So if, like, you had this opened up, if this is on the edge of the table, if somebody bumped it and it flew off, the strap's on there, everything's being held secure. Pretty cool, right? It's pretty awesome. And look how far I can. I just tipped it over a little bit. Look how far I can move this strap out. I can pull it all the way out here. And so you can definitely, you know, kind of, you know, round it out over the top a little bit and get it closed. So, cool thing. So, close, you know, if I want to reach in here and get my game out, here's Unfair. And then, like, just so you can see underneath there were Seasons, one of my favorite games. And so, there you go. And like I said, this could hold, you easily hold more than the 2 games that I've got here, especially if you're going with a smaller box of games. You know, and definitely, like, if you had smaller games, you wouldn't have to lay them flat. You could, you know, lay them like this. This one wouldn't. You can kind of tell it'd be a little bit too big. But if you have smaller games, you definitely could lay them flat. Now, you can actually fit these in the tank as well, so if that's an option or something you're thinking about, definitely you could go that route as well. Alright, so I didn't put any games. Oh, I forgot one last thing. Here, let me show you. Here, I'm going to just show you really quick. So now this one has this strap, right? And you don't have to use this strap. You can you know, definitely just fold it up and put it back in, and you can carry it, you know, by the handle that you have here. But the strap, actually, you can kind of wear it as, like, you know, your little shoulder bag, like this. And, you know, that evenly is going to distribute the weight. If you have really heavy games in here and you're worried about that, you know, you could just wear it like this. And you can even, I'm not going to do it, but you could put it over your head as well. So you can even then not have to be, like, holding onto it with your arm as you walk. Really helpful, once again, on that long walk, you know, from your parking spot to the board game meetup. And, you know, I have a convention that I go to every year. It's in Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's called Con of the North. And one of the cool things about it is that I run the board game room there, and I usually bring around 20 to 30 different board games with me. The thing is that I don't have all 20 to 30 board games in the room with me at all times. I bring down the select games that I'm going to be playing that day. And so having something like that I can go back to my room and back and forth to carry them easily, because it seems like wherever they put my board game room at that convention, they always put me in the furthest hotel room possible from that spot. So being able to have something cool to carry, I'm really looking forward to going to it in February because I'm going to have this stuff. All right, so here, last but definitely not least, is the tank. Yeah, okay, you can't even see me right now. Okay, so this is the tank. The tank is built for multiple games, for lots of different games. There's a couple things that are really cool about this that I'm going to talk about. First of all, it has the ability, you can have like a big giant duffel bag like this, right? I'm going to look over like this. So it's like a big giant duffel bag, and so this is if you have longer games, if you have those coffin box type size games, you can set them down in here like so. But obviously it is built, you know, to go kind of up and down and to be able to place multiple multiple Ticket to Ride style, square games in here. Now you don't have to do that. Obviously you could get all Tetrisy and be funky and have some fun with it, but you definitely could go that route. Now there's a couple of things here. This has these straps over here like so, and yeah, this is large, it is bulky, but think if you were carrying like six copies of 6 box games down some walkway heading towards a board game meetup or something like that. You are going to be scared. You're going to drop those. You're going to drop them. You're going to break those boxes. You're going to spill your components everywhere. Yeah, maybe you're not going to look the coolest. Actually, you know what? This is pretty cool wearing it, actually. My daughter's been wearing it and goofing around with it a lot. But, it definitely is going to get you noticed, which is not necessarily a bad thing either. But anyway, so here's these 2 straps, right? So you just kind of take these off, because these hold the lid on. And so when you open up the lid, now you get... Well, first of all, one thing I want to show you is that on the top of the box here, you can see there's even more room up here for placing more games, or just if you have other things, like if you had dice, or if you had like just some small card games. If you were taking this like a role-playing game session, you could have whatever paraphernalia or whatever you're going to be using, like maps, charts, things like that. You could use this spot here, and you once again have a cool little strap there to hold that in place. Now, as I said, it has this like you've seen these probably on duffel bags before, where it wraps these 2 together with this little thing, and now you can carry it like so. But you can, as you probably guessed it, like take that off, and then you can remove that and throw it in the top here so you don't lose it. And then it becomes like an actual backpack where you have the shoulder straps, where you'll be wearing those, and it has actually the strap that goes around the front, and you clip that in front of you as well, so you kind of have all that weight. If you've ever gone backpacking, and I've gone backpacking, you know that one of the really nice things about a really good backpack is that if you get the shoulder straps in the right spot, and you get that strap in the front, and you got everything kind of hooked together and good to go, it distributes that weight so well on your back that it doesn't feel like it's as heavy as it is, because it's giving the weight equally to the different parts of your body, those strong muscles in your legs, the strong muscles in your back, and things like that. So you're able to carry that weight. And as we all know, you pick up 1 game box and you're like, oh, that's kind of heavy. You pick up 2, that's a little heavy. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game boxes, you start feeling that weight, and you start really, feeling, the burn, if you will. And before I show you the inside, I just want to show you on the bottom, there's these nice rubber little spots there. So if you are if you're resting this on any sort of pavement or rough a terrain or whatever like that, you don't have to worry about it scuffing up or tearing up the nylon that you're having over here. So, all right. So, as I said, this one can hold a lot of games, and it can hold several of the larger size, or different sizes, if you will. And this one obviously is kind of like the top of the line type thing. So here, I'm going to unstrap it here and get this guy opened up. Now remember, this top isn't like the actual entrance into the inside, right? So get this guy opened here. And you have, and hopefully you can see this pretty well, and I'm going to take these out, and I'm going to explain what these are in just a second. But you take these out, and you have, just basically a large cavern here where you're going to be able to put your games in. And as I said, the other, here's this guy. You can just put that in there, and you could have multiple ones of those stacked in there to hold your games. This is like double protection. Now, inside here, because of the fact that it is kind of so long and so big, you know, you might be worried about the sides bending in, and that's where these two strips come in. So once you put the games in there, you put these on either side. So there's one here and one here. You put those on either side to kind of strengthen it. The boxes push against those, up against the sides of the bag. And so the whole thing becomes a really, really rigid, really, really self-contained, like, transportation device. And just like every other one, it has the big giant strap on the inside, so you can strap all your games in. They're safe, they're sound, they're awesome. And I gotta tell you, I use this for, I used the tank when I went to my most recent board game meetup. And like I said, it was so much easier to carry all those games. I got a pretty good parking spot last time. I was only about maybe 50 yards from the door. But, you know, I was able to put that on. It was icy out. I was walking, and it was awesome. So, you know, I've often wondered if somebody would come up with like a really, really good transportation device. And each one of these has its you know, like, as far as like the different sizes, like, you know, what kind of a meetup are you going to? Where are you going? How many games are you bringing? Each one of these has incredible merits and abilities and everything like that. And I really like the fact that the two smaller sizes, you can use them in conjunction with the tank. And it's definitely something that I'm really glad that I have, and they were kind enough to send me. And I'm going to be using this for as long as I'm in this hobby, which is probably going to be, you know, for the rest of my life. So there you go. I expect to see, you know, a 75-year-old undead Viking at some point at some convention, probably having my son carry, or my daughter for that matter, carrying this on their back. But I'll point to this and I'll say, there it is. I did a video on that 30 years ago. You know, so, God willing, if I'm still here. But anyway, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. If you have any questions about the board game truck apparatus, please ask away. I'll be happy to answer those questions as best as possible. Thank you very much, as always, for your time, and you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.